Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Football Betting Podcast with me, Tom Pipkin, my co-host Tom Walker, and we are back with an action-packed episode of Premier League, Championship, League One, and League Two action because the international break is over for a good 4 or 5 months, and thank God for that, Tom.
Yeah, thrilled to be back. I think it's March, is it? That everything comes back internationally. So a long runway coming into the Christmas period. There's going to be a ton of domestic football for us to get our teeth into. So yeah, really, really happy to see the back of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. So boring. We are sponsored as ever by our friends at Quiff. So Quiff do sponsor the podcast. You can check Quiff out at quiff.com. And if you want to, you can join using our sign-up bonus. You get a £10, bet £10, get £30 free bet offer if you join Quiff using the link that we'll share on social media and in the podcast show notes. Anyone who does sign up using that link will, of course, be helping the pod. Quiff is the only betting platform that allows you to supercharge your bet. So any bet you place with Quiff, if you've never used it before, you don't know what it is, you get the chance to be quiffed and supercharged. So if you bet on Man City this weekend at 1.64, for example, there's always a chance that that could be boosted to 2.0, to 2.64, or to 20.64 if you're really lucky. So that is the fun of betting with Quiff. You never know whether your single bet, your accumulator bet will get supercharged into something much larger than it should be and or will be anywhere else.
Yeah, yeah, it's really quite a unique product that we're delighted to be working with. And listeners, a couple of shows ago would have heard from Jack as well. Great guy. Looking forward to working with them as the season rolls on. So I
Hmm.
think we should get going, Tom, in the Premier League, and starts off with a bang, doesn't it?
It does. Man City against Liverpool. I know Jurgen Klopp's not happy about once again being the Saturday 12:30 kickoff straight after the international break. But yeah, you're on the money. This should be a cracker. Both teams have scored in this game in 8 of the last 9 between the two. Over 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 8 between them both. So for me, Man City have Man City are very short, I think, at 1.64. I think there's definitely got to be a bit of juice in the Liverpool price at 3.70. But
Mhm.
personally, I'm going to play it safe. And for me, the safe route is both teams to score. 1.48 is the price for that one. Man City haven't kept a clean sheet against Liverpool in 9 consecutive games. I mentioned 8 of the last 9 have been both teams to score. So for me, that is going to be the way to go. I think it'll be a very entertaining game, as they often have been in recent times between these two.
Yeah, since Klopp took over in October 2015, they've had 35 12:30 p.m. kickoff games. It's not the most. That's Tottenham with 36. They've won 16, drew 12, and lost 7. So they've averaged 1.71 points per game, and that was actually 1.97 prior to last season's poor form. So he might complain, but they do have a decent record. Yeah, that is ever so tantalising for Liverpool. But yeah, both teams to score is the smart play.
Right, moving into the 3 o'clock. So then we've got a handful of them this week. Anything you fancy in either Burnley against West Ham or Newcastle Chelsea?
Yeah, West Ham. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't be reading them out, Tom, against a team that has lost 6 out of 6 at home. West Ham priced at a healthy 1.96 for me. They have shown some decent form recently, beating Forest 3-2, beating Olympiacos. On the road, I wish there was a little bit more to go at for sure. But I mean, these are the perfect opponents in Burnley who have lost 6 in a row. You know, Vincent Company coming out consistently saying that he's not going to change the style of play because of what he believes in and all that good stuff. I mean, that's a punter's dream, to be honest with you. That's exactly what I want to hear. Keep doing it, Vincent. I'm going to keep going against you.
He's going to die on his sword, isn't he? Here at Burnley.
Sure,
Um,
that's fine. I'll get West Ham at almost even money. That's good with me.
I do want to upgrade you slightly because I think you can get West Ham to win and both teams to score here. Price for that being 3.4. West Ham have conceded in every away game they've played so far this season. And with Burnley being at home, I do think that they can get something out of West Ham because they've been pretty leaky generally defensively. West Ham conceded at least 3 goals in the last 3 away games. That is against Liverpool, Villa, and Brentford though. So 3 tough away games there that they've had. But yeah, I think if this ended a 2-1 or a 3-1 to West Ham, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, no, not at all.
Uh,
Potentially West Ham to win both halves as well. I think I'm very, very hot on them this season.
Luton Palace, anything for you there?
Not really.
No, I I do feel like, Luton will be earmarking this as a game where they could potentially pick up some points. But, I think that'll be doing Palace a disservice, really, because they've been very good away from home by and large this season. They've got some fantastic results already this season, winning 1-0 away at Man U being the highlight a few game weeks ago. So they're no pushovers on the road. I think.
No, that's why I don't want to. That's why I don't want to go against them. To
Mm,
be honest with you, mate. Like in terms of away form for Palace, it's better than Liverpool, Manchester United, Brentford, Brighton, West Ham, Wolves, Villa, Newcastle, Forest. You name it.
yeah,
It's only bettered by Everton, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, and Tottenham.
yeah, yeah. Let's move into Forest against Brighton. I've got a good stat for you, and it's one I'm surprised we haven't picked up on really before now. Uh,
Mm.
both teams to score is the tip. 1.55 is the price, and the stat to back it up is that Brighton have had both teams to score in a whopping 16 consecutive Premier League games.
Wow. How did
That
we miss? How did we miss
that
that?
has gone so under the radar
Mm.
in all of my research that I've done over the last, I don't know, 2 months, or however long that
Yeah.
you judge that a good trend to go on. Yeah, 16 consecutive Premier League games they have had the games be both teams to score. So 1.55. Brighton themselves aren't coming into this match in fantastic form, particularly. And Forest generally very good at home. Losing just one home game since April, and that was 2-0 to Manchester United. We've seen some big sides come to the City ground and leave with nothing. So if Forest won, which I'd like us to do, obviously, it wouldn't
Mm.
surprise me. If it was a draw, also wouldn't really surprise me. But I think both teams to score is probably the best way to play this one personally.
Yeah, both teams score is what I'd wrote down, mate. I think I can see all three results, and that's normally an indication to not go down either avenue. I think Brighton are going to catch fire eventually. Could be Saturday. Forest at home, really good. Will it end up in the middle at a draw? Probably. But yeah, let's just go safe with both teams
Yeah.
to score. Brilliant stat.
Sheffield United, Bournemouth, potentially a game where Sheffield United might be looking to pick up any points, or no bet for you.
No bet for me. I like the idea of Sheffield at home. Apart from that, obviously 8-0 against Newcastle.
Hmm.
But Bournemouth for me have got the better players. So yeah, I'm okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, for Saturday, we've got Brentford against Arsenal, and another good stat to dig out of my little bag of good stats I've
Wow,
got
you're
going.
killing
The last time Brentford failed to score a home goal in the Premier League has been over an entire year ago. So you got to go all the way back to, I think it's Chelsea last October, so October 2022, um, when they failed to score at home. So 1.5 is the price for Brentford to get on the score sheet this weekend at home to Arsenal. The 3.9 on the nose, and we've spoken in the past about how good Brentford's record against third London clubs has been as well. So, for there could be some juice again in the Brentford price at that 3.9, but once again, going to play it safer and say Brentford to score at 1.5. Yeah, considering they've scored, sorry, in every Premier League game at home for over a calendar year, it's a good price that for me.
Yeah, looking into this a little bit more, Brentford or draw. Brentford on a double chance is even money.
Mm,
Now, Arsenal are super capable of going there and getting a win, of course. But I just feel like this is a tough game for Arsenal. I just feel like Brentford beat a big six team at home every season, potentially multiple teams.
yeah,
It's a really tough place to go. Arsenal, if they're not up for it, if David Raya's going to get some abuse and it isn't quite up to it, I could easily see them dropping points here. So yeah, Brentford double chance is what I had wrote down as a little bit of an outsider. Maybe it's even money.
yeah, I like it. Um, Sunday then, Tottenham Villa. I think it's going to be a very entertaining one. Surely this one, isn't it?
Yes.
I could see every result under the sun, as in Tottenham win, draw, Villa win, Tottenham win comfortably, Villa win comfortably, high scoring draw. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
it's going to be entertainment. I think it's going to be goals. Once again, we'll take the goals angle, but it is short. Both teams to score 1.42, so the shortest of the lot, but for good reason, I suppose.
Yeah, over 2.5 is the other angle for me. 1.53. We've seen Villa on the road concede a lot of goals. They've scored a couple as well, but their strength is at Villa Park, and Tottenham are missing a lot of key players. Particularly James Maddison, who's probably signing of the season in terms of instant impact in the Premier League, and when he's missing, that's obviously going to make a big impact as well. So I thought safer was over 2.5, just so I'm not relying on both teams finding the back of the net. This covers a Tottenham thrashing and a Villa blank, or maybe a Tottenham blank and Villa getting a glut of goals.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was my angle. I wanted to go overs.
Yeah, that's fair. Everton Man U then rounds off Sunday, and do you know when you think, Everton should have a good chance against Man U, with the whole points deduction thing, a lot's been said about Man U potentially walking into a real cauldron this weekend at Goodison Park with, Everton rallied against the Premier League and rallying for the cause after the points deduction. Um, 2.5 for Everton is, it was a bit tight, to be honest. I'd I'd wanted a little bit more, but yeah, if I had to pick anyone, I'd go with Everton. But Man U are not going to be a pushover.
No, a lot's been made of that viral kind of stat. Man U best performing team in the Premier League at the moment, blah, blah, blah. But let's analyze that a bit more.
Mm,
Struggled to put Luton to bed, managed to win 1-0, lost to Copenhagen in the Champions League. This is what those kind of stats don't read out. Obviously, they just focus on the Prem. Struggled to get over a Fulham, won that narrowly 1-0. Got battered by Newcastle in the Carabao Cup 3-0, beat by Man City 3-0 at home, edged over Copenhagen, got very lucky away at Sheffield United, somehow managed to beat Brentford with two late goals. Like this is built on, and
mm.
before that, sorry, losses to Galatasaray and Crystal Palace. So this is built on absolute mud. Like
Quicksand.
this, yeah, this is nothing to get excited about. And this game will all be about balls for Man U, and I don't think they got the balls to go there and get a win. I'll be in the blue corner for sure.
Am I wrong in thinking I'd want a bit more from Everton or not? Do you think this is
No,
fair?
I think it's yeah, I think that's fair. I think maybe the Man United angle is coming into it. The fact that they're struggling this season means maybe the bookies think they're a bit more evenly matched. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
no, you're not wrong.
yeah. I think Everton will probably even get shorter as it comes closer to the game as well.
Probably, yeah.
Um, Right, last game, Monday. Good stat once again. 10 consecutive Wolves games have been both teams to score. So, when someone's had 10 consecutive games, both teams to score, you know where my eyes are looking. Once again, we go both teams to score. 1.78 is the price. So obviously that means 10 consecutive Wolves games without a clean sheet. Fulham, their opponents this Monday night, they've not kept a clean sheet for 9 consecutive games themselves. So, yeah, two teams here really struggling to keep them out. I am just looking at my stats and at my notes, kind of not to go against that, but 8 consecutive games between these two sides have also been under 2.5 goals.
Ding,
So
ding, ding.
they've not been a spectacle. So can we potentially get them both at 1-1?
This is screamingly under 2.5 for me. It's priced at 1.72. Yeah, you read that out, Tom. In terms of Fulham, they are the joint lowest goal scorers in the Premier League. Burnley are bottom with 9. Fulham are at 10. And I just think that Fulham are really struggling in terms of replacing Mitrovic. And the wide supply line of Willian hasn't looked great. That contract game he played with Nottingham Forest doesn't look like it's worked out in Fulham's favour at all. And 1.72 for a pretty drab affair. I think we can all expect, maybe with a bit of Pedro Neto, stardust sprinkled on it. I
Mm.
think is fair enough. In terms of the matches this season, 58.33% of Fulham's games in general have been unders, and then at home it's 60%. So for me, unders looks pretty strong.
Yeah, fair. Let's move into the championship then, shall we? And I'll get us kicked off quickly with a team I like the look of, not the biggest price, so I won't spend too long on it. It's Southampton away at Huddersfield, 1.64 for Southampton to get a win. Um, Came off the international break, or started the international break, should I say, in really good form. No losses in 8, 3 wins in a row, 4 in the last 5. So we're hoping to pick that back up. What they do very well is start well. Southampton have scored the first goal in 9 consecutive matches, and it's given them a fantastic platform to then build upon and push on and get a couple more goals and really see out wins and get more 3 points on the board than they did do in the first month or so of the season. So yeah, for me, Southampton going away at a Huddersfield side who are really struggling at the moment. Darren Moore's just got 1 win in their last 9 games. And yeah, it'd be a bit of a surprise if Southampton didn't win this one for me.
Really, really short price on Friday night. Leeds away at Rotherham, 1.35 for Leeds against a Rotherham side with a co-caretaker managers, in charge. Leeds have been great recently, to be honest with you. They have won 5 of their last 6. In terms of the only defeat being a 1-0 loss away at Stoke. And I think Stoke are one of those teams that are just a little bit sticky for opponents. I'm not too worried. Obviously, Rotherham, Matty Taylor was the victim of the sack. Probably a week ago now, maybe a little longer. And typically, you expect clubs to move quite fast when they dispose of managers, and maybe targets have changed, maybe landscapes have changed, but they're coming off a 5-0 loss away at Watford. They have been better at home this season. I will give them credit for that, but I think there's going to be miles. There's going to be a big gap. Of quality between these two.
Yep, definitely. I'm going to go for one on the Saturday 5:30 kickoff. West Brom against Ipswich. Maybe a little bit against the grain here. I think West Brom might win this one for me. 2.37 is the price for the Baggies to get 3 points. I just look at Ipswich's recent games, and yes, they've not lost since the 26th of August, so they're on a fantastic run of form. I just don't think the way they're conceding goals and the rate they're conceding goals is sustainable for me. Um, they've conceded 2 goals in 5 of their last 6 games in the championship. And they're kind of getting themselves out of jail by being able to score a lot of goals. So there's a lot of 2-all draws in there or 3-2 wins. Um, so that for me isn't a particularly sustainable way of going about a league season over 46 games. So I think Ipswich have been fantastic. I'm sure they'll do very well this season, but I don't think they can concede two to this West Brom side who are in very good form and expect to be able to score 2 or 3 themselves away at the Hawthorns this weekend. Yeah, West Brom do very well at home. They've lost just once at home this season, winning 5, drawing 2 of their 8 games.
Mm. Outsider alert for me. We're back in a team to go to a venue and win for the first time since 2013. We're back in a team to go and get only their second away win of the season. And that team is priced up at 6.0. It's Watford
Ooh.
away at Leicester. I'm just seeing signs that one team is on the up and one team might be on the decline. I spoke many times before about how Leicester were getting wins, but not necessarily destroying teams. And I kind of had a feeling that coming up against some better teams, they might struggle. Not saying I'm a genius, but they did record back-to-back losses against Leeds and Middlesbrough. Now Watford aren't at that level, but I've seen some signs from Watford that they are on their way. They're unbeaten in their last 6, winning 3 of them. And on the road, I can definitely see some building blocks. A draw away at Huddersfield, it's not going to get you promoted, but it's a building block. A win away at Swansea, a draw away at Cardiff, which is pretty impressive. A draw away at Coventry. There's a loss against Sunderland in there, I have to mention. But yeah, I just feel like this Watford team is slowly getting it together. Um, there's obviously always a lot of change at Watford. Yasser Asprilla is a name that's leaping out to me. Watch out for him. He looks like a real gem. But yeah, it's not a one that you put on your accumulator. But 6.0 for Watford away at a wobbling Leicester. That is a very, very, very big price.
Yeah, okay. Shall we move into League One?
Yep.
Like I'm gonna go for what I think for me is the biggest bet, biggest banker of the weekend. It's Bolton Wanderers at home to Exeter. Bolton price at 1.5 to get the win. So they're quite short, but understandably so, because Bolton are kind of like the Stockport of League One, aren't they? Stockport on that fantastic winning run. Bolton have won 11 of their last 12 games across all competitions. So yeah, fantastic run of form, league and cup. 5 consecutive clean sheets as well, so they're winning to nil, and they're at home against an Exeter side who are really in a bad moment. In the league, they've not won since the 16th of September. That's 7 losses and 1 draw in the last 8 league games. Away from home, they've lost 4 in a row, conceding at least 2 in all of those games. So you've got the classic case here of team very much on the up in fantastic form, and that's Bolton against Exeter, who are really struggling at the moment. And yeah, they're going to find themselves in the relegation zone if they are not careful.
Mm. Oxford. Oxford United priced at 1.75, which I know it's tight, but we've been getting shafted on Oxford, I think,
Mm.
pretty much all season, to be honest with you. They're away at a Cheltenham side, priced at 4.33. It's Des Buckingham's debut as manager. So he's come over from the Indian Premier League, and he is an Oxford fan, born and bred. He is coming in relatively highly rated. It's obviously a bit of an unknown quantity, but Tom, I know you love a new manager bounce, and is
Yeah,
that not enhanced when that new manager has immediate buy-in from the fans because he's one of them?
I agree. Yeah, I have this one
Yeah.
down myself. I completely agree with the shout.
Yeah, 6 wins, 0 draws, and 2 defeats on the road for Oxford. This is coming off a 5 game unbeaten run with 4 consecutive victories against a Cheltenham team that have lost 5 of 8 at home. Darrell Clark has come in and improved them. They are still 23rd, however, with just 2 wins in 16 games. Now, a lot of that, of course, stat wise, is when they were failing to score in the first, 9 or 10 games or whatever it was. So they're definitely on the way up, but they're going to have to put in a massive performance to get over Oxford, I think. Yeah, the yellow's priced at 1.75.
Yep. Okay. Outsider for me, Wigan to get a result away at Leyton Orient. 3.6 is the price for Wigan. So I've either got that one for you or Wigan just to score a goal, which is 1.44. So either one of those, I think you could get a bit of return on for me. Wigan have won 4 of their last 6 games in League One, so they're doing pretty well. Table wise, if you looked at the table, they're in 18th, but because of that 8 point deduction they had at the start of the season, really, if you were to take that off, they'd be in ninth. So the table is lying a little bit at the moment when it comes to Wigan and their position. Leyton Orient, for a team that's 1.76 heavy odds on favourites here, they're not very good. Um,
Mm.
they've lost 3 in a row. In the league, they've not won since the 14th of October against Carlisle. That's 6 games ago, sorry. I just think Wigan are in very good form at the moment. They're in a moment and they're picking up lots of points home and away. And Leyton Orient just seem to be a bit meh. They lost at home to Lincoln in midweek. And I think they could lose at home again to Wigan this weekend. Yeah, I just don't think, I don't understand why Leyton Orient are such heavy favourites because there's much more worthy teams at similar prices this weekend.
Yeah, totally fair. We're going to back Wickham, Tom. Wickham are not a team that we've been backing a lot this season. Traditionally in League One, we'd be all over them pretty much every week. But they find themselves in mid-table after trying to rebuild after Gareth Ainsworth. And they're 1.83 to be a Reading team that have won 0 games and drew 0 games and lost 8 games on the road, losing their last 5 in a row, and they just keep finding different ways to lose. The last time that they played on the road, they conceded 2 goals in the 90th minute to throw away a 2-1 lead and lose to Shrewsbury, a goal shy Shrewsbury. It should have been pretty straightforward seeing that one out, but this naive team just can't find a way on the road. 1.83, honestly, it's a pretty good price, I think. Wickham's home form, not traditionally what you would have in mind. I think we all become kind of accustomed to Adams Park, and what Ainsworth built is not like that anymore. It is below a mid-table home record in the league, but it should be enough to get over this naive Reading team.
Okay. Any more in League One, or shall we move to League Two?
L2.
Right, L2. Let's get kicked off. For me, there's always stuff to go for in League Two, isn't there? I really love League Two from a betting perspective every single week. We'll quickly touch on Wrexham at home to Morecambe. Wrexham are 1.4, so they are, I believe, the shortest priced team in League Two this weekend. Yes, they are. At the racecourse ground, generally Wrexham are pretty good. They do have one of the best home records in the league. They've played 9, won 6, drawn 2, lost 1, scored a whopping 27 goals. So that's on an average of 3 goals every home game. Morecambe are in maybe a spot of bother for this weekend because Derek Adams, their long-serving manager, has left the club unexpectedly in midweek. I believe he's going to Ross County, I think.
He's such a dick. He's such a dick. Not an ounce of respect for anybody that other than
No,
himself. That guy, my God.
No, so I just think with that him unexpectedly leaving in midweek, it's just going to throw everything into turmoil at the club at the moment until they can get a new man in and get a bit of stability. But that's going to be a few weeks' time, I'm sure. So yeah, that's far, far from the preparation you want when you go into one of the best teams in the division away this weekend. So Wrexham, justifiably, I think for me, 1.4.
Shall we back a team with the joint record, equaling record, sorry, of consecutive league victories at this level?
Let's hope they don't bottle making the record outright their own, right?
The Stockport County, Tom alluded to it earlier. Yeah, they're just on absolute fire. In terms of wins on the road, it's 6 from 8, losing 2. They are an absolute juggernaut. They're sitting nice and pretty at the top of League Two. They have amassed 41 points, which is the most any team in the EFL has managed to amass so far. So they are, by far and away the best team at their respective level. I suppose in the Prem as well, to be honest, although they've played a few games less. But anyway, they're playing against Newport. I feel kind of sorry for Newport. They got some new ownership in, and I think they're trying to build, and they're trying to kind of find their feet a little bit, but they're just not quite picking up enough results consecutively. It's like win one, lose one, win one, draw one, lose two. Like they just can't quite get on their feet. They're in 20th. They are probably in that relegation scrap, although I wouldn't expect them to drop. But yeah, I don't care who's playing Stockport and what location the game is being played at the moment. There's just one bet every single week right now, and it's Stockport at 1.61.
Yeah, I completely agree. One more for me in League Two. Mansfield away at Swindon. And this is one of those prices where I looked at it and went, oh, that's quite good. 1.92 for Mansfield to get the win away. Um, the only unbeaten team left in League Two are Mansfield. They've played 17, won 9, drawn 8. They're currently on a 5-match winning streak. They've scored at least 2 goals in each one of those 5 matches. And their opponents this weekend, Swindon, are having a real dip in form. No wins in 8 consecutive games across all competitions. That also equates to no clean sheets in 8 consecutive games across all competitions either. So when you consider Swindon are really in a poor space at the moment, and Mansfield are, they keep going and going and going, like those 5 wins in a row attests to. So yeah, for me, 1.92 for Mansfield seems like a really good price.
Any more in League Two?
No, no more in League Two for me. Shall we wrap it up with a little treble and look at last week's briefly?
Yeah, and I just want to say I thought you were on fire today. You absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's rare that we give each other credit. So good job.
Thank you. A
Um,
little stats bag.
yeah, I was going to
Job for
say
you this week, did it?
yeah. Yeah,
You're
so
equally
last
good,
week,
by the way. I don't want to take all the plaudits. You're
no,
equally good.
you're good. Last week, let's have a look at the treble. So yeah, we lost by one team for the second week in a row. A big favourite, kind of letting us down. This time, Wrexham. We
Mm.
haven't really put them in the treble that much this season because they've been kind of unbackable with their prices. But we put them in and they lost 2-0 away at Accrington Stanley. But spoiler alert, we're back. We're back in bed with Wrexham.
Yeah, we are. So maybe more fool us, but we are going to go for a treble this week of Wrexham at home to Morecambe, Stockport away at Newport, and Bolton at home to Exeter. So that's Wrexham, Stockport, and Bolton, all to win. £10 example stake with Quiff pays 3.3. However, there is always a chance it could be supercharged. So that £33 from 3.3 could turn into a hell of a lot more.
Mm.
That's the fun of betting with Quiff. So please do check that out. Of course, take advantage of that sign up offer, the bet 10, get 30 that we mentioned at the top of the show. The link will be in the podcast description and on social media. But yeah, that is a treble that I really think has got a lot of chances this weekend.
Yeah, we're very excited about the return of the top four tiers, Tom. And what have we gone and done? We have picked a treble in the bottom two tiers.
That's so true.
But no, lots to go off this weekend. And if you've enjoyed the show, guys, please consider following us on Twitter, T underscore FB podcast. There's lots of good content coming down the pipe. So please get involved. T underscore FB podcast, help us get to 3K.
Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? What are we on about? 2,700?
2748.
It's getting there. It's
Yeah,
getting there.
creeping, creeping.
Christmas present is 3K. The Christmas
That'd be lovely, that.
yeah, and also early Christmas present would be to rate and review the podcast if you have enjoyed.
Mm.
So yeah, wherever you listen to your podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you could take the time to just drop a quick rating on there, 5 stars preferably. But yeah, if you enjoyed the show, we'd really appreciate that one. And yeah, that's about it really, I think.
Appreciate the time, guys. Take care.
Yeah, it's back next week. Go well, be profitable. See you next week.